Motorcycles are one of those things where new and modern doesn't always mean better. Riding a motorcycle is almost always an emotive choice, as much as anything else, and as such we tend to cling on to the good old days. Now, motorcycle manufacturers know this, so they have done a wonderful job of making great retro motorcycles that perform like modern bikes and are reliable like them too. In this video, let's explore the top retro motorcycles that are packed full of up-to-date tech and vintage looks that are available for 2021. But before that, if you're new here and you want to catch some amazing motorcycle related content and all the new bike releases, be sure to hit that subscribe button. There is no more retro motorcycle than the brand new R18. The new R18 from BMW harkens back to the very roots of BMW Motorrad and the 1923 R23, from which the R18 gets its basic shape, the flat twin engine configuration and even shaft drive. But it's all modernized. That 1802cc flat twin puts out 91 horses and 116 pound-feet of torque. That's more than enough to move the bike's 761 pounds of curb weight. Now when you get on it and ride off, you will feel every one of that 761 pounds. So if you test ride one at your local BMW dealership, keep that in mind. The big flat twin really shakes things up when it starts, but also when you're leaned over and powering out of a corner. True BMW history buffs will appreciate the R18 because of all the cues it takes from the original R23 of almost a century ago. Those not familiar with the marque's history will still like it just because it's so cool. The Kawasaki W800 is a tribute to the 1966 W1, which was itself a copy of British bikes of the day, when everyone was trying to look like their favorite real racer. The 1966 W1 is the motorcycle that has come to represent the ethos of Kawasaki's quest for speed. It had the largest displacement and was the most powerful Japanese motorcycle of its time, and it inspired the birth of the legendary machines such as the Z1 and the Ninja H2 sport bikes. What you get in this modern retro bike is yet another strong entry into the retro cafe racer category, and a worthy entrant too, with a 773cc vertical twin employing an assistant slipper clutch for smoother transitions between gear and throttle positions. The handlebars are positioned high enough that you can get a more upright posture than a sport bike, while still forcing a slight lean forward in the style of the original cafe racers. It's still easier on your back and neck and some sportier bikes on long rides. Yamaha made quite the impression in the 1970s with their sellout XT500, and 50 years later, the XR700 tribute is set to take over. On the inside though, a responsive liquid-cooled engine, it rides like you'd want any modern bike to, but on the outside it's covered with all those retro goodies that caused the XT to become one of the most popular Yamaha models ever made. Stepping into its ancestors' iconic shoes, the XR700 pays tribute and lives up to the legendary status through retro-inspired colors and graphics. Scrambler equipment and off-road components include handlebar and footrest. It's dripping with rugged good looks, a ageless style, and modernity that we just can't get enough of it. A list of the best retro motorcycles wouldn't be complete without the Moto Guzzi V7. The Guzzi literally makes it on looks and heritage alone. Whereas many of the bikes on the list are essentially modern bikes trying to pass as retro, the Moto Guzzi V7 is the real deal. Sure, the design has been tweaked and enhanced incrementally over the years, but it really feels like a genuine old bike. It's a surprisingly practical choice with its shaft drive design. The longitudinally mounted V-twin engine makes a lot of sense and it looks just amazing. Both air-cooled cylinders are positioned outward nice in the airflow, receiving equal cooling. And for the home mechanics, you can work on much of the engine without having to remove the seat or the fuel tank, which is a great advantage of the Guzzis. The Moto Guzzi V7 is exactly what a motorcycle is supposed to look and feel like. It's a hoot to ride, reliability is generally decent, and for 2021 the Moto Guzzi V7 has got even more power and torque. When we're talking retro motorcycles, no list would be complete without the great Royal Enfield name. The iconic British brand is now the biggest name in the Indian motorcycling scene and definitely picks up the award for the most visually authentic retro bike. Each one rolls off the production line looking like it had been made and garaged since the 1960s. The Royal Enfield Continental GT650 makes the list on the ground that it offers a great little cafe racer experience for such an affordable price. Everyone will love a retro cafe racer, but they are normally a premium product and often compromised enough for you not to want one as your only bike. There's also the Royal Enfield Interceptor 650 if you prefer a more upright riding experience. Based on looks alone, it doesn't get more retro than the Triumph Bonneville T120, but even when we put looks aside for a second, Triumph's history has made them leaders in the British retro scene, and their Bonneville T120 is proof of that, and that's why it is stealing the #1 spot on this list. Over 70 years ago, they created a distinct silhouette as we know as the Bonneville that has and continues to shape the market. For modern day use, the timeless character and iconic style has been coupled perfectly through an up-to-date chrome tank, grab rail, wheel rims and pea-shooter silencer, accompanied by a 1200cc liquid-cooled parallel twin engine, heated grips and ABS all as standard. The T120 is a classic looking bike that takes all good bits from Triumph's earlier 50s-60s roadsters and adds a modern day yet still authentic twist. In my opinion, it's the best retro looker on the list that is not only good value but is also a complete all-rounder, and that's why it takes the crown. As long as sales keep booming and manufacturers keep up with demand, then this timeless design will never go out of fashion. What do you think of these picks? And there's definitely a lot more retro motorcycles out there that would be a great everyday bike. Let me know what your favorite retro motorcycle of 2021 is in the comments down below. If you like this video, then smash that like button, and if you'd like to catch more motorcycle news and content like this, consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.